Masking misery. The word mask now often conjures up feelings of frustration, those not-so-fond memories of having to wear face coverings during the height of COVID, or for the mask mandate adherents, the irritation when seeing others not wearing them. Either way, the modern-day act of masking has been linked with much misery. Act is the operative word, for masks have a much darker past than just being plandemic garb. There's quite a dramatic history. Don't worry, this isn't a history lesson. But we'll review how the original mask wearer initially used them to deceive, and how he still uses them for that same purpose today. As we know, a mask as a noun is a covering for the face, worn as a disguise or to amuse or scare other people. As a verb, it means to conceal something from view. Noun and verb mask synonyms include facade, disguise, conceal, and hide. But do we know who in the history of this planet was the first to disguise himself? And do we know what that disguise resulted in? Satan and deception, respectively, but not respectfully. We've read in the book of Genesis about Eve's temptation in the Garden of Eden. But that was not the first of the devil's deceptions. Before becoming Satan, he, as the angel Lucifer, rebelled in heaven, falsely accusing God of being unfair, and thus deceived 1/3 of the heavenly angels, causing them to forfeit paradise. It was Lucifer's necessary eviction from heaven that led to his further rebellion and thus to his deception of the first earthly woman. Satan knew that he couldn't approach Eve as is. He had to come to her masked. He disguised himself as a talking serpent, something that Eve had never before witnessed. And since the serpent seemed happy while it was eating of the forbidden fruit, seemingly unaffected by such blatant disobedience, Eve was both dazzled and confused. But God is not the author of confusion. 1 Corinthians 14:33. Inspiration tells us why Satan needed a disguise in order to deceive. Though he had found sin to result in infinite loss, he concealed his own misery in order to draw others into the same position. Patriarchs and Prophets, page 55. Concealed his own misery. Those words haunted me. The father of lies is still concealing his misery, and the misery of those who follow him. Together, they make lives of sin appear glamorous. They trick humanity into thinking that rebellion is without consequence. The deceived soon discover the lie. How many famous people have become drug addicts or alcoholics to relieve pain? How many have actually killed themselves when their pain became too great? Those celebrities were obviously miserable, for fame and fortune didn't fill the God-shaped voids in their hearts. But to see them on colorful magazine covers, or on the television, or in movies, they seem to have it all. Huge homes, expensive cars, 32 perfect teeth and all. Their acts are quite convincing. Note, not every famous person has sided with Satan, but sadly, many have sold their souls to him. The ploy? Satan makes us think that his worshipers are always experiencing joy, so that we'll want to follow in their questionable footsteps. But it's only in worshiping Christ and following in his footsteps that there is true joy. Had the enemy of souls tempted Eve in his actual condition, looking lost and terribly miserable, she would have recognized him as the warned-about tempter. And if Satanists showed the world their full misery, fewer people would succumb. Let's not be deceived any longer. Let's live stronger with God's incredible power. The enemy and his cohorts will soon be fully unmasked. By each of us choosing truth, we can be free of all evil, even sooner than that.